And Hera actually got random Italians. And he just picked Italians. So I'm not sure if we allow that one. Admin loss? I agree. Let's just make it 4-1 for the Viper and call it a night. Burmese against Italian. An interesting matchup. The moment we get to 1 Bombard Cannon and 3 Genoese, Hera wins. Before that, I think Burmese are really, really strong. By the way, old Arabia version is being played, as we can see, AOC Arabia. Nowadays, there's a minimum distance between stone and wood. That's something we didn't really have in the old days. And again, a crater-like map here for a bit both players, but mainly for the Viper. How does a Rabbi make his coffee? He brews it. I like that one. I'm satisfied with your viewer and sub numbers. Will you continue casting next year? I will continue casting next year. At least till March. Every March I do, like, that's my anniversary. Like, in March, end of March, 1st of April, I will make a recap. I'm a full-time streamer for 3 years now. Look at my numbers and my goals for the next year. Exclamation mark goals, indeed. And obviously, there was a lot of stuff going well for me in the last year, so financially, I'm doing really well. As I mentioned in my videos, I roughly need 900 subscribers to make a living out of it, and that's what I have. Plus, now we have the nice GL deal, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm enjoying it a lot, so very, very likely that at least lots of parts of 2021 will include me doing something in the Age of Empires 2 universe. My favorite thing about NSC is that on Wikipedia it says venue, Nili's apartment. If that's your favorite thing, then I actually did a lot of work for nothing. Okay. Nili is rich now? Rich in love. What's the absolute worst Civ matchup? I really hate to play Turks against Britons. I think they're really, really bad. Do you believe in some AoE4 with less Civ and something like StarCraft 2, Warcraft 2? And if yes, do you think viable makes sense? Do you believe in some AoE4 with less Civ and something like... I don't really understand the question. If it is a question about Age of Empires 4, then I don't want to talk about it. I wonder how much of your earning you have to give back to the German government percentage-wise. Well, the thing is, I'm still also playing poker, right? So that's included there. And oh, look at that. Nice. I'm not sure if the gate was needed, but it certainly didn't hurt. And, well, except the scout was hurt, right? And you, like, I'm self-employed, right? So the tax is really high. I would say I'm giving away something like 35-40% of my income. Something in that ballpark. But I don't know the exact numbers, right? I have a tax guy. Do you believe in life after love? Yes. Yes. I hope you do a recap of NAC 1 to 3. I don't even know in what form you mean. What are times is the lower right? I assume the TC idle time, or is the other villager idle time? This one is idle TC and this one is idle villager time, indeed. I made a full overview video on my YouTube, which I didn't want to say again. Are you allowed to repeat civs? Don't be a snitch, my man. No one likes a snitch. 35% really high. May need to move to Germany. 40% isn't just taxes, is it? Can you write off prize money and losses for your taxes? Obviously, yeah. Like, I have my office that I'm writing off as taxes. If I buy a new microphone, I will write that off as taxes. And such, yeah. How does the overlay work? I don't want to say it, but there is a YouTube video explaining the overlay on my YouTube. Hey Nili, I had a question, but I have a YouTube video about that question. Oh my boy. Doing God's work. Thing is, like, giving a man an answer, or answering a question, and I will feed him an answer for a day. Give a man the link to my YouTube channel, and I will feed him for life. That's simply how my channel works, right? Recap like you may talk about the best matches or funny matches or unexpected outcome of all 3 cups. Okay. Unlikely. Is there a hole in Viper space top left? Here, that is walled. On the minimap, we can't really see it, but that is double walled. And this one is walled as well. So pretty ugly gold for him. But I think that's what Hera could have done in their second Arabia game as well. Gonna send my builds for food to your YouTube channel email? I don't have to. Did you already do the math how much prize money is reasonable for Showmatch a year so your tax balance is optimal? That's actually what lots of poker players are doing, right? At the end of the year, every high roller is so much fuller than at the start of the year. Because if you are down that year, then you can just write it off taxes if you lose another tournament. And if you're ahead and don't win, then you have to pay fewer taxes, right? The amount of the buy-in. And should be pretty much the same in Age of Empires. Let's take a look here. Has to lead the wall, and that could be a second dead villager. Indeed, goes down there. Hera with quite some losses. Now another house here. I have over 50k points now. Can I play community games only in Jam Monday? No, every time we do community games. But I don't do them too often, so. Next one will be, I think, 27th of December. Next time of community games. Maybe I can do some more another day. I always wondered, when is the biggest advantage in progressing to the next age when your opponent isn't up yet? I always wondered, when is the biggest advantage of progressing to the next stage? Well, if you are feudal age, your opponent is not, you can build army and kill your opponent. If you are imp and your opponent is not, you can build traps and kill his castles while he cannot. So maybe you need to rephrase the question a bit there. Saving 210 pounds for when Neely adds Forest Nothing at the top price. I will make sure that no one can reach that score, and the moment someone can reach it, I will instantly up it another level. I like to see Viper, but I would like to see some good matches though. Well, so far I wouldn't say I'm not entertained. Now moving out here, and that will be some aggression. Sees the archers, and that one archer should kind of indicate that there are more around. Viper, that could be 1-2 dead villagers here. Hera, I think he should not have shot there. And tries to dodge a bit, goes around, and now the hill advantage for the skirmisher up top. And I don't think Viper will lose that villager, will he? Maybe quick house or something, a gate with the wrong villager actually, and goes for that one. Hera snipe in the chat. 3 archers straight off against 2 skirmishers. Hera has to be happy with this one, but more archer losses in the back, and that's something Hera can't be happy about. Is there an EDL limit needed to join community games? No. There's a community limit. Are you part of the community? Then there's no limits for you. Players usually don't care about ladder, but they are used in tournament seedings time to time. So they're grinding before tourneys. In some, yes. For example, for KOTD, I intentionally banned special maps and only played specific maps, only played Pig Civilization because I wanted a better seeding. Sadly, I wasn't around at home, was carotined and couldn't really grind there. So that wasn't great. But I think that's a viable thing. That's why I think we should transition more into highest rating, not rating that is used at that very moment. And for example, the World Cup had a seeding system on the highest rating achieved, and I think that makes somewhat sense. Because, like, Roomstock, he's like number 130, 120 or something in rating at the moment. But if we seed him only by that, or 50-50, highest rating and rating at the moment, it won't be good. But also, it's like Roomstock's responsibility. And maybe it could be included a bit there as well. Okay, now some skirm dancing. As you all know, guys, Burmese, they don't get extra defensive armor upgrades after the Feudal Age one. So his army composition at some point needs to transition away from skirmishes. Look at that. Trusting in his macro. Oh no, actually he's changed the waypoint. Stable now being added. Camping on that hill. Go around there and... well, both players will click up at very reasonable times. The main gold still kills me. Yeah, neither player has a good main gold. It is just so much worse on this map. That was a crazy amount of annoyance. Totally worth it. Absolutely. Still denies the berries. Denied one farm for quite some time. Forced some repair. And is now back at it again. I'm a bit surprised that Viper leaves his gold so open. Now sees no archers around, so he should know that counterattack is not unlikely. Nearly, I'm a newbie. What are the go-to strats with both civilizations? Okay, so Italians are considered not be one of the strongest Arabia civilizations. Arabia, the map that we are playing here. So they don't have the best strategies to offer. Often do we see something based around the archer unit because, well, they simply have all the upgrades for them and you're trying to play into those cards. On Burmese side, often do we see an opening with men-at-arms because their men-at-arms get extra attack per age. So if you're feudal age, you do 7 damage, for example, instead of 6 damage, which is pretty massive in Age of Empires because numbers are relatively small. And as the game progresses, Burmese most of the time is transitioning into Rambai, their unique unit, which is really, really strong. Not as strong as those 3 archers. Sick quick wall here by the Viper. Hello. Good job there, trapping all these, but lost a villager regardless. And Hera, as you can see, now going for the upgrade, still dancing here. And Viper, he tries to play the meta a bit. And sees, okay, my opponent is going for archers and skirmishers. Therefore, he is now going on to knights with the second defense upgrade, which are really good against small numbers. Hope I answered your question. If you have more specific ones, I'm trying to answer them as well. Who is better in which age, etc. In Dark Age, slight advantage for Italians because they can go up cheaper. In Feudal Age, I would say Burmese with their stronger men-at-arms. In Castle Age, massive advantage for Burmese with a Rambai and Mangonel pressure. In Imp, as I said earlier, I think once we get to Genoese crossmen and some bombard cannons, Italians should be fine. Viper's gonna struggle if Hera goes for Genoese crossbowmen. Indeed. Viper, is he playing 4 TC here? For now, he is playing 3 TCs. You see lots of idle time forced by Hera or for Hera. Earlier here, Viper did get some kills, and Hera heavily sits on a golden army now. We'll go for 3 TC, 4 villagers on stone there, so is thinking about those units for sure. Nearly, regarding the advantage question, that's exactly what I meant. Like, what advantage is the best? Feudal, Greater Dark? Castle, Greater Feudal, or Imp, Greater Castle? Ah. It's way more complex than that. Like, if you are Feudal and your opponent just refuses to go Feudal, then you are always winning. So that is the biggest advantage, because like, relatively, being Feudal Age opens you so much more. Because Dark Age basically means your opponent has only Militia to work with, right? So that is the biggest win. I've seen people win in Imperial Age playing again, or in Chaos Age playing Imperial Age. Let's take a look at that fight first. Skirmishers are trying to chase this one down. Knights +2 defense, something we don't have for the skirmishers, and numbers are dwindling quite a bit. Skirm's a bit mismicroed there. Good job by Hera keeping his numbers alive. So I've seen people win in Feudal Age against Castle Age. I've seen people win in Castle Age against Imperial Age, but I've never seen someone win in Dark Age against someone that is Feudal Age. So Feudal Age over Dark Age has to be the biggest thing there. Now it's some more dodging. Hera, oh god, he's slaughtering those skirmishers. Only 4 skirmishers around, and they're in the minimum range there. Can't really shoot. That was a really good job here by Hera, making the holds happen. But he is only 2 villagers behind. Viper did it. Check his Join the Dark Side video. Okay, maybe I should have been more specific. I mean, 2 players that are on reasonably equal skill level. What about Douche? Yeah, Douche never ends in Dark Age, right? The player doesn't win in Dark Age against the Feudal Age player. You should see full Goth Militia spam in Dark Age. If its OP ages up too early, it can be deadly. I'm not saying that it is impossible. I'm saying that it is a really bad strategy. Like, going for more than 10 militia, even with Goss, isn't a great strategy. Like, your opponent has to make major mistakes that it somehow works out. Okay, Viper will soon have enough stone, but same goes for Hera. And I don't think that a Rembi will do so much. Why does chat ask questions if they know all the answers? Well, some people ask, some people know. Some people just want to say something. It is the beauty of Twitch chat, right? We are a free country. Or something like that. I'm trying to learn the game and people come with the cheese strats. Lol. I want to learn the strats. Well, cheese is a strat, right? China is not free. Whoever told you that is your enemy. Talking about weird games, I once saw John make 3 barracks militia in a game versus Huang in Dark Age. Okay. What's your opinion about the new Laming Goth? Well, I don't like that. I think it adds some variety. I personally don't like to play with or against it. But it gives the Civ a lot of identity. So that's something I like. Ah, someone realized what song I was quoting. When I want to improve over winning. What can Burmese do versus Condos here? Rembi? Oh, Condos is not that scary. Rembi are really good against Condos, yeah. Uh-oh, that's not great though. Doing some knights and skirmishers. Goes for more stone, goes for more gold. And Viper, he will have to add some siege with his army. Onager might be something. Bombard cannons might be something to counter the Genoese crossbowmen in the long run. Skirmishers still around raiding. 14 villager lead here for the snake. But Hera is on the way to Imperial Age. We'll obviously some more aggression. I'm a bit surprised how much Viper is losing here. Weird choices. Or maybe not choices, but... oh. Events. Which country has the biggest AoE fan base? If we talk all AoE, then probably with... let's just say China. Let's just say China. There are some losses here. Ay. What is that? Like 8, 9 villagers falling? Something like that. We can see how many villagers did die this game. We had 14 villagers falling here for Hera already. 3 only for the Viper. And that's why we see him with a over 20 villager lead now. And Genoese number, not that scary. In fact, we don't see a single Genoese for now. Viper will get good control over all the relics. With Burmese, the team bonus, obviously, you see all relics. And he had some map awareness, was around, and might actually get all 5 here. Am I seeing that correctly? I see 1, so it's going to be 3 at least. It's going to be 4 at least. Not really sure where relic number 5 is going to be. Are the Italians strong in early game? Not that strong. Hera has a relic? Oh yeah, he does. So it will be 4 against 1. And now we have 4 archer ranges, 2 stables. So indeed it will be mass skirms by the Viper. He's trying to hold with his castle. It's gold exposed here. Some resources exposed there. Well, actually, the castle behind this should be fine. Would love to see some trap production. Maybe taking into chemistry might be an option as well. Let's see how quickly the reaction will be against that castle. 1 crossbow down. And that will be... Opa, make it 3. Try to dodge those shots. But we have ballistics there for the Viper. And I think he most likely Viper will get those villagers home as well. And it will be mass skirmishes. And we did mention it earlier. Skirmishers, they really live off their great armor, but Burmese can't upgrade the armor anymore. So it's only 5 compared to the normal 7 armor, and suddenly Arbalests are doing 5 damage instead of only 3. Which is the strongest Civ right now? Heavily depends on how many players against how many and the map. Hera gets some control here. Looks like him standing there indicates that he wants to build a castle there. Indeed, that will be his game plan. Viper still 20 villager lead. Goes for light cav skirmisher. So not heavily on gold. Quite surprising that he is still keeping 16 on gold then. Solid amount of farms here in the back. Lovely moves for sure. Should Hera switch to Genoese or just stay with crossbow as they're better micro against siege? I think Genoese is the long-term unit for him. But obviously Arbalest transition is so much easier. And as you mentioned, 1 more range makes them easier to micro. Viper now rushing out chemistry. Really important. I think he needs those bombard cannons ASAP. How's the siege workshop count? Not a single siege workshop yet by the Viper. That's a bit underwhelming to me. Also, relics will be extremely exposed. Arbalest annoying. Skirmisher waited for Bracer. Now taking the engagement. They still do reasonable damage there for sure. Monastery. I think he will lose the relics eventually. 2 castles producing the traps, and that trap war should be pretty solid in Viper's favor there. I don't really see anything out from Hera as of yet when it comes to having any long-range siege. The hill is starting to get awkward. Yes, it does. Wasn't nearly casting the Germany B series. Not interesting enough to because of the view numbers. It was a great series and would have been even better with a favorite caster. I'm considering casting it tomorrow before the other matches. But yeah, I expected a great series and it delivered as well. I will be around to cast the other World Cup matches after this set ends. Is there any event soonish? What's the question? Hera Viper best of 7 is great as well. I agree. That's why I'm here, right? Skirmish is now taking the fight uphill. I'm a bit surprised. That is a fight that Hera is going to win. The question is, though, is that really the fight he wants to take? And he says, yes, look at how those skirmishes got just mowed down. And way too little Arbalest losses there. That was a great fight for Mr. Hera. And skirmisher numbers now really, really small. Still, gold efficiency-wise, it was better for the Viper, but Hera just keeps his army alive and does so much damage. Crazy, crazy numbers. And that's what I said, right? I wanted to see siege. I want to see bombard cannons. I want to see onagers. Something to deal with those masses. Skirms blocking that gold. Hussars with the raid. And we won't see too many more Arbalests in production. Like the Red Bull event, is there anything planned already? Yes, a lot. I don't want to say go to my YouTube and find all the info, because that's obviously the place to go. Maybe go to AOE Zone or Liquipedia to find all the info. Those are probably your 3 spots to be informed about upcoming tournaments. Shouldn't Hera add Lightcav? Well, he's sitting at 29 farmers, right? So not really an easy option for him. Hussars are now moving in. Skirms are fighting as well. Those 3 traps are relatively exposed because bombard cannons are not really getting cleared up. Or are they? No, they are not. And Viper, he will get a volley off and then I think needs to run. Otherwise, he will lose all his traps there. Not the greatest fight. Viper taking horrible engagement after horrible engagement. How is the KD looking here? Is that 41 to 8? That's eco killed. And the other KD is 116 to 103, but that's going to be lots and lots of losses here. As you can see, Hera killed 12.5k now, Viper only 7.5k. Yeah, he will find more kills, and yeah, he has the advantage when it comes to population, but -1 gold spot, -3 relics here, or does he? Did he reclaim one? I'm hearing monks. Did he reclaim one? Yes, he already has 1-1 now. And so much idle time forced. Gold-wise, it's still looking pretty good for the Viper. Obviously, he's still annoying there. Over here with the skirmishers. And it is tricky for the fight. Bombard cannons now around. The moment those bombard cannons of Hera fall, will get really tricky for him to take those engagement. Bombard cannon somehow missed there. I was really surprised. And skirmishers trying to chase this one down. Arbalest numbers dwindling a bit. They're still over 40, so good enough for me. Bombard cannons getting some okayish connection against the skirmishers. Hera is microing back, but it's not looking too crazy. Tough to replace that army here for him, for sure. And skirmishers just trading it off. More hussars coming over. The Viper's economy with 130 villagers. They're looking pretty damn solid. And now the 5 bombard cannons are exposed. Look at that. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. Viper, did he really hold this one? It looks pretty good for him. And 3 bombard cannons trying to make something happen. Ground attack here by the Viper. Snipes another bombard cannon. Lovely move there for sure. Is shooting directly, and only now the Lightcav transition is arriving. Not even having the greatest upgrades on these, at least that's how I would judge it, because they died so quickly. And you can see only 1 defense upgrade, no attack upgrades on these. Reclaiming the relics, number 2, 3, and 4 pretty soon. Traps are moving forward, bombard cannons moving forward, and it looks like Viper did buy himself enough time with the raids. Now has a strong army here at the front. Numbers are looking good for him, and he is reclaiming this hill. What counters Hera? What counters skirms in Hera's position? Lightcav or his own skirms? He has way more upgrades on those skirms. Bombard cannons are great as well. I would never go skirms as Burmese. It was amazing. Well, if your opponent is going Arbalest exclusively, it still is okay, right? He took some bad fights over here, but simply the mass just made it work for him so nicely. And well, Hera didn't really have the economy to transition and really put out the army to aid his Arbalest there. Now we can see Lightcav. Honestly, they're not that great. They take 4 damage from a skirmisher with only 1 defense upgrade, and then skirmishers can even take those fights reasonably well. Hussar is trying to find some stuff out here on the map. How's he telling Lightcav? They get all upgrades. So, okayish, okayish. I think Hussars are too good against Arbalest. Well, I disagree with that. How is Italian cavalry? Well, Cavaliers and Lightcav, all upgrades for them. Arbalest coming over to defend that angle. Hera sits at pop 160 while Viper is pop limit. And Italians get fully upgraded Hussar. What am I even talking about? Yeah. My bad, guys. Yeah, I played so many DM Italian mirrors, I should really know better. Sorry! Okay, Remba and Tassa's trying to make another raid happen. Beautifully positioned castle there for Hera on the hill, protecting the gold, protecting the stone behind there. Now Lightcav popping as well, so that should be solid. Hera now at 60 farmers, so he's getting onto the numbers that he wanted to have, but he wanted to have those earlier. Elite Arambai and many poor cavalry coming in. So the Arambai switch is now happening, and that will be really damn ugly if you can't get to the mass units that we wanted to see earlier. And well, Hussars They were pretty solid against the Arbalest, and maybe that would not have happened if we had the Genoese crossbowmen mixed in there. Hera was doing great with Arbalest, then he winged Hussars arrived. Okay. Coinage! Okay, now goes for guilds. I wrote the small misclick there, goes for more gold, some farmers there, and yeah, we'll block that right off. Just full control for him. Hera is increasing in population, but not really increasing in map presence, and I think it will just be question of time. So since we see like, or till we see like 3-4 traps around here taking out that castle, and then there will be so much economy completely exposed. Ah, Manipur Cavalry actually works for Hussars as well. I only think about Rambai, but let's take a look. And look at that, he's really going for the castle already. Is that really his plan? Would be surprised. And yeah, maybe murder holds might be an option here, Hera. You have the resources for it. And the Rambai are sitting under the castle, but Arbalest are coming over to fight those off. I don't think the castle will fall, but lots of HP lost here. Look at that, 1100 HP, 900, and now maybe taking down another house. Gets more villager kills, but loses lots of his Rambai here for sure. Hera sits still at pop 180. Does a good job of trapping and retrapping those Rambai. Lovely moves here for sure. But now finally the Viper gets out. Still with reasonable numbers here with his Rambai, but lost lots and lots of HP. Such a meme moment. Yeah, like we had lots of memes already in the set yesterday, right? Norway against Czech B there. Hera relies a lot on traps. I don't think he relies on them. He has them in his arsenal. I don't think he ever has a game plan, and at that one point in my game, I have to have a trap. Oh, Lightcav will find some kills here. I enjoyed the arena I have with May and Obsidian Arrow and Saracen team bonus as well. Ay. I still think that Genoese Crossbowman is the better unit than Arbalest. Yeah, you have one less range, but still. I think it's simply placed so much better, especially with all the Hussars mixed in. So many Viper fanboys in here? Well, so many Viper fanboys everywhere, right? He might be the most liked player in the world. So only makes sense. If you are the GOAT of the game, kind of comes naturally that you will have a lot of fans. And elite battle elephant now on the way. That is surprising to me. And look at that, Howdar as well. Hi, going wild here. I'm a big fan of Yo. You're allowed to. We're Dart fans, not washed up Silverboy fans. Okay. Mr. Yo can't stream on Twitch. Yeah, at least not legally. He watches Twitch from time to time using a VPN, but I don't think he could stream using a VPN. Why do you think USA isn't more prevalent in AoE? Probably not a lot of marketing done when the Age of Empires came out, right? It is a very European game. And well, they are okay, right? Like they have, like how many? Like 4 or 5 players in the top 200. It's not completely unreasonable. USA in StarCraft? They're way better in StarCraft than Age of Empires, yeah. And Hera has to tap this one out, 4-1. It felt over for quite some time. Solid performance here, surely, by the Viper. And yeah, interesting that Islands was picked there by Hera. I don't really get that. Ghost Lake, not really creative. I didn't like the home map choices too much. Hera did win his home map choice, though, when it comes to Ghost Lake. So you can't fault him for that. And this one, I would have loved to see Genoese Crossbowman, but did not really matter in the end. Viper made a good greedy boom, then mass skirmishes for the good defense. That's a lot of money into Viper's pocket again. And he had such a better economy, and that's why we didn't see any hussars from Hera there. And Cavaliers obviously completely out of the question. Had so little gold control, getting raided over there at his gold spot in the center.